So we will start off with the lost child once again. We did till this paragraph, that is this third paragraph here, and we will start off now with the second paragraph. We now see that a child is going to the fair with his parents, and the child is very happy, and like a small child he is easily attracted by the scenes and sights on his way. Now let us start. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, that is, his parents, who were sitting under the shade of some trees for rest. The child went inside, and it was spring season. All the trees were full of flowers, and as the child entered, the flowers showered upon the child. And, forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands, and the child was so happy that he forgot to be near his parents, and he was concentrating on gathering the petals. But lo, he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his parents, shouting, "The dove, the dove!" Now there another thing happened which attracted his attention, that is, he heard the cooing of the doves, and he was very excited. The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands, and he immediately forgot about the petals. "Come, child, come," they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they took the narrow winding footpath. Winding means a way which is not straight, which is winding, which led to the fair through the mustard field. Now the child was jumping in a playful manner. They collected him because they were wasting time, and they headed towards the fair through the mustard fields. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs, means densely packed crowd of people converging, meeting to the whirlpool of the fair. That is, there were many people coming through the small alleys, and where did they meet? In the fair. It was a very confusing scene where were a lot of people. And the child and felt at once repelled, disgusted. He wanted to go back because there were so many people. At the same time, he also was fascinated, wanted to go by the confusion of the world he was entering. That was new for him, and there were two emotions. He was repelled, he didn't want to go. At the same time, he also was equally fascinated. And in the fair, there was the usual scene. A sweetmeat seller hawked, shouting, "Gulab jamun, rasagulla, barfi, jalebi," at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many-coloured sweets, and the crowds were attracted by the many-coloured sweets, decorated with leaves of silver and gold. That is, the sweets also were decorated. The child stared open-eyed, and his mouth watered for the barfi that was his favorite sweet. So he was a small child, and he wanted one of the sweets, barfi. "I want that barfi," he slowly murmured. He did not say very loudly because he knew the answer. But he half knew as he begged that his plea, once again his request, would not be heeded, would not be paid any attention to. His parents would not listen to him because his parents would say he was greedy. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. He knew the answer, so just he murmured that he wanted one of the sweets, which was his favorite, but he knew the answer, and he did not pursue it anymore. A flower seller hawked, "A garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar." The child seemed irresistibly drawn, and he could not help himself. He could not control himself, and he went to see the garland, the flowers. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped, and half murmured, again not in a very loud voice, "I want that garland." But he well knew his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say that they were cheap. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. That is, he knew his parents very well, so he just murmured his wish and moved on. He knew that they will not buy him any flower, and they would say that the flowers were cheap. Another magnificent sight for the child, a man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, and purple balloons flying from it, and every child is fascinated by the colorful balloons. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors, and the child was the same. He was attracted. He went near the balloons, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. And a small child, he wanted to buy all the balloons. But he well knew his parents would never buy him the balloons because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. So he walked on farther, and this time also he did not press the matter, and he walked on further. Another side, a snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket. The snake was coiling inside the basket, and the snake charmer was playing the flute. Now, the snake's head raised in a graceful bend like the neck of a swan, while the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. That is, the way we hear the gentle rippling sound of a waterfall, but we cannot see. Similarly, the sound of the music went inside the invisible ear of the snake, and the snake was swaying its head to the rhythm of the music. The child went towards the snake charmer, but knowing his parents had forbidden him, strictly told him against, to hear such coarse, rough or unpleasant music as the snake charmer played, he proceeded farther. He wanted to listen, but he remembered the scolding of his parents, the warning of his parents, and again he started walking. He went farther. Now, there was another magnificent sight. There was a roundabout in full swing, as it is visible in all the fairs. Men, women, and children carried away in a whirling motion. They were shrieking, that is, they were shouting loudly and cried with dizzy laughter. They were feeling very happy and they were laughing, and some of them were also shrieking. The child watched them intently, and he was watching at the roundabout for some time, intently with eager attention. He did not look around, alright, and he was fixing his gaze at the roundabout. Then he made a bold request. He did not murmur this time. Watch the word bold request. Now, he said, he was fixing his gaze at the roundabout for a long time, and this time the request is bold. I want to go on the roundabout. Please, father, mother. That is, he did not murmur. He made a bold request. I want to enjoy a ride in the roundabout. Okay? There was no reply, but this time he was a little felt a little strange to hear no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there ahead of him, and he could not see his parents because he was watching at the roundabout for a long time, and he may have gone the other way. He turned to look on either side. He looked at his left, he looked at his right. They were not there, but he could not find his parents. He looked behind to see his parents may be there. There was no sign of them. Alright, and he was very distraught, disappointed to find that his parents could not be found.